Listen up. I'm going to tell you why I am completely obsessed with Brunt. I've worn a lot of work boots in my life, and I'll tell you this, before Brunt, my feet were destroyed. I could not wait to get my work boots off. Then, I tried a pair of Brunt boots. Let me tell you, it was relaxing. Right out of the box, these things were ready to go. There was no break-in. There was no blisters. Right away, they fit so we could work. Comfort meets protection, meets durability, all in one. And these are not just any boots. These babies are built for the job site. Slip resistant, heat resistant, waterproof. They got it all. They are even electrical hazard rated. Whether you're rocking the Marin with its 6-inch soft toe, total powerhouse, or the Omen, lightweight, water resistant with all the features you need. I'm telling you, you're gonna get boots as comfortable as your sneakers, but as durable as real work requires. Over 500,000 folks have already joined the Brunt crew, trying them on the job risk-free with free shipping. Guys, check them out, but don't wait, because they're going fast for the holidays, and the holidays are right around the corner. Limited edition styles are dropping all month, and they're gonna sell fast. Treat yourself or the hardworking man in your life to something built to last. And hey, all my listeners get $10 off using code Chael at checkout. That's bruntworkwear.com. Use code Chael to get $10 off. Get yours today and let them know the bad guy sent you. I got asked an interesting question. I got asked a very interesting question. It was very simple. Here's the hypothesis. Okay, let me set this up. Same card. We're actually referring to the White House. Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane, World Heavyweight Championship. Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira, Interim Championship. Same card. Who main events? Now, we don't have to be weird about it. We don't have to be weird. We can even throw away that idea of an interim championship. We could just throw that away. It's going to be Jones versus Pereira, Ciryl, Aspinall, who main events, right? A week ago or 2 weeks ago, that'd have been very easy. We wouldn't even have the debate. But now as we come into the new era, Justin Gaethje versus Paddy the Baddy, for example, last fight of the night. World Championship amongst the women for the undisputed title on the line. Interim, beat out, undisputed. Great. Who would main event? And the way that this setup went is we don't know when Tom's coming back. So that's a long time. That's a long time from now. We could keep the belt on him all the way until mid-June. Jones is coming back. One of the problems with Jones is the reliability of Jon. But that doesn't just mean getting Jon from one location to the next. Like there was more on that statement. Which is, not just not showing up or doing what you said you're going to do, but holding us up because you're a representation of the championship. That's where Jones versus Alex, that really gets removed. That doesn't create an environment where Jon can take the gun and point it back at you. It's unique. It really is unique, and it really does change the words of the author of the statement, right? When Dana White made that statement, he hadn't considered that it would be a non-title fight. He hadn't considered that it could be a super fight. I'm just sharing with you, like, the repercussions coming out the back end. Not to mention, how many fights do we get with Jon Jones? Very difficult to believe that Jon does this more than 2 more times. I think we've all agreed on that even prior to Jon's last fight with Stipe, that we could see where Jon's going to do this one and 2 more at a maximum. But that does change a little bit when you send a guy out with your belt or you send him out in a position to challenge for your belt. Now, Joe Rogan went as far as to call Jon Jones's absence on the White House card a travesty. If Jon Jones is not on that card, it's a travesty. I was hoping that Joe would have said why, and he didn't. So now I have to guess that he's talking about the greatest event ever should have the greatest fighter ever. I'm left to guess that. But Joe didn't say, and I wanted him to. I wanted him to because it ties back to this same question. If Jones and Alex are on the card, if that is such a big deal, if that is just such a big fight, which, by the way, it is, and the heavyweight championship is on the card, who do you put on last? Who do you main event? And we've been told that it's going to be all title fights. Now, I think an amended statement, is the main card will be all title fights, right? If you're getting 5 main cards, you just might end up with 5 title fights. But you see where then, what do we do with Jones? We put him on the undercard? You see where that doesn't work? And you see where if we do put Jones on the card, but we don't put him in a main event, now we've got a potential problem. Like the whole idea of a travesty, it gets to be pretty tough. Your placement on the card, there is nothing that trumps that. Not your belt, not the ranking, nothing. If you jerk the curtain for somebody, you aren't a star. If you are a star, you don't jerk the curtain for somebody. So when Rogan talks about it being a travesty, I do want to come back to that question. Well, where do you put him? I would fully understand main event. Fully. I've just watched the pushback that Gaethje and Patty have been given. So what? We move on from that. Okay, I'm listening. I'm open to all of these things, but it's a travesty. Would a bigger travesty be to not have the greatest fighter? Or would a bigger travesty be to bring in somebody in a feature bout that isn't ranked in the top 15? Because Jones is not. That, my friends, is a travesty that everybody's just looking away from. The media has had 8 opportunities to ask this question of leadership. 8 different press conferences since they pulled Jon out of the top 15. Nobody's even asked a question. That's weird. But all right, let's talk about travesties. Would it be a bigger travesty to not have the great fighter of all time on the card or to not have a world title contested in your main event? It's going to be very hard to do both. I wish that I understood that stance. And I've been in these positions before. I remain very consistent. I was interviewed when they were going to O2 the first time. That was a huge deal. I didn't personally understand why. I remember when we were going to Madison Square Garden, I got to be on that card. I'm glad I did because other people think that it's really cool. I didn't understand what was different. If they set that octagon up in my backyard or your backyard, I didn't get it. I'm not fighting in New York. I'm not fighting at the White House. I fight in the octagon. I didn't understand, but I do understand there's a phenomenon, and I understand that I'm wrong, or at least I'm in the minority. Why would it be a great travesty? Why somebody got to walk their little ass down an aisle and get into the exact same octagon that they put on a ship and take all over the world? Why would that be a travesty if he didn't do it? I think a bigger travesty would be to close out the night and not have a title, or a bigger travesty would bring your a headliner who's done nothing but headline and put him in an underspot. But I'm open to being wrong. I'm always open to being wrong if you confront me with evidence I had not yet previously considered. So we got a non-title against a guy that's not in the top 15. And we're going to push all the titles and all the boys and girls that are in the top 15 out of the way. Was the word travesty misused?